Dorothy had sat at the same table every Tuesday for 6 years. Table 7, by the window. So when she arrived that morning and found a man already sitting there, an old man with a red scarf and a book he wasn't reading, she almost turned around and left. After her husband passed, Dorothy had spent a long time trying to find something to hold the week together. Grief, she had discovered, does not arrive all at once. It comes in the structure of things, in the empty chair at dinner, in the Tuesday mornings that suddenly had no shape to them at all. And so she had invented one. She would dress carefully, not formally, but carefully, and walk the 14 minutes to a small cafe on Elm Street. She always ordered the same thing, a flat white and a slice of lemon cake. She always brought a book she rarely opened. It was a small ritual, but small rituals, she had learned, were what kept a person from disappearing entirely into their own silence. The man with the red scarf didn't look up when she approached. He was perhaps 70, perhaps older, white hair, slightly untidy, the kind of hands that had spent decades doing real work. A coffee cup in front of him, half finished. A book, Steinbeck, she noticed, face down on the table. He was not reading. He was simply sitting in her seat. She stood at the edge of the table for a moment, holding her own book against her chest. Then, because she was 68 years old and too tired for pride, she cleared her throat. "Excuse me, I usually sit here." He looked up. He had very dark, very calm eyes. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't know." He began to gather his things. "No," she heard herself say. "Please, there's room for both of us." His name was George, a retired carpenter from upstate New York. He had moved to town 8 months ago to be closer to his son, who was, as he said quietly and without complaint, very busy. He came to the cafe because his apartment was too quiet in a way he hadn't expected, and his son's house, when he visited, was full of noise that somehow still felt lonely. He said all of this simply, without asking for anything in return. Dorothy listened. She told him about the ritual, about Table 7, about the book she never quite opened. He laughed at that, a real laugh, not a polite one. She had forgotten how different those two things sounded. They talked for 3 hours. She missed her train. She was halfway home before she even realized it. She found she didn't mind at all. The following Tuesday, she arrived at the cafe at her usual time, and she looked, without meaning to, without deciding to, immediately at Table 7. George was already there. He had arrived first. There were 2 cups of coffee on the table. This happened again the next week, and the week after. They never made plans. There was no arrangement, no agreed-upon time. They simply both showed up, the way people do when something has become, quietly and without announcement, a part of the shape of their week. One Tuesday in November, the new waitress smiled at them and said, "Your usual order?" Dorothy looked at George. George looked at Dorothy. And in that small, ordinary moment, something shifted in her chest. She had a usual order again. She had something to look forward to. Again. She wasn't sure what to call it. She decided she didn't need to. This Tuesday, she arrived 5 minutes early. She straightened her coat in the reflection of the cafe window before she went in. She ordered 2 flat whites. She had noticed some weeks ago that George always looked at the lemon cake, so she ordered 1 slice of that too. She sat down at Table 7, and she waited. Outside, the street was doing its ordinary morning. People walking dogs, a child on a bicycle. The usual world, going about its usual things. She opened her book. She read the same sentence 4 times, without absorbing a word. And then the door opened, and she looked up. Do you have a small ritual, something you do just for yourself, that holds your week together? Tell me about it in the comments. I'd really love to know. And if this story made you smile, please share it with someone who could use a little warmth today.